Hello, I'm Lee Hawkins of the Wall Street Journal. The car behind me is the 2012 Bentley Mulsanne, which qualifies as a celebrity of cars, especially it's a top-of-the-line Bentley for Bentley. And with me is Valentine O'Connor, who is a representative of Bentley. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Now, it will be shipped at the end of the year, right? You're going to start shipping these?
We'll have customer deliveries starting at the end of the year, that's right. The Bentley Mulsanne begins at about $290,000 for the model year 12. And then as this one is spec'd, because it's got a lot of extras on it, including the iPad specification, this one is about $380,000. What we have introduced for model year 12 is a thing we call the executive interior specification. And this car is an example. This includes two iPads integrated into the rear of the front seats. And they fold down electronically on veneered or leather-covered picnic tables, and then deploys two different iPads, one in each seat. And these iPads are fully wireless enabled thanks to a router we have in the back of the car, as well as a SIM card, so people can work on the go anywhere they are, no interruption.
Okay, and so I've talked with a lot of different car manufacturers, and having a hotspot in the car was a big deal about 2 years ago. Now you're starting to put hardware in the car and making it so people can actually work, which is especially important for this vehicle because so many of the people that own Bentleys are chauffeur driven.
Yeah, and typically when you look at Bentley's history, we're known as being the driver's car and not so much for being driven. But with the Mulsanne, I think, and also with our Flying Spur, the Continental four-door, I think we find that our owners most of the time will drive themselves, and then occasionally they'll be driven. So say for this car on a long distance trip or just around town as people are getting into traffic and things like that, it's a perfect opportunity to be able to work anytime uninterrupted.
And now the US is the #1 market for the Bentley, but also you've seen a big jump in China.
That's correct, yeah. This year our sales are up by nearly 30% in the US. Globally our sales are up by a quarter, and in China we are up by 26%. So and sales are going strong.
Is part of that because China is such a big chauffeur-driven market?
That could be part of it, yes. We find most of the cars we sell in China are four-door cars, so the Mulsanne, of course, has done really well, as has our Continental Flying Spur.
So let's take a look.
We have the distinctive vertical mesh grille that's evocative of Bentleys of the olden days, of the racing days. We have, of course, the Flying Bee wing bonnet, which is terrific. That, of course, also through the years very strongly identifies this as our flagship car. Then you've got these jewel-like headlights, and if you look closely, you can even see Bentley Motors written kind of etched in the lights. For this particular car, we also have a duotone paint, and this is moonbeam on the hood and tungsten is the primary body color. You notice the lines of the car are very strong. That's all thanks to superforming, which means we take aluminum, we heat it up to 500 degrees Celsius, and then we put it into a mold, so there are very crisp lines. And then if you look closely at the headlights and the body surrounding it, that has eliminated what we call the shut lines or the cut lines across the lights. So when you look at the vehicle, because there aren't these cut lines across the lights or across the windshield, there's this hewn from solid look.
Okay.
It looks like one solid piece of metal. Then, of course, can't ignore under the hood. This is our classic 6 3/4 liter V8. This has been around for decades, and what we've done is change the architecture a little bit. We've taken out a lot of weight since the previous incarnation, which was in the Arnage, and now this also has cylinder deactivation. So this is a 6 3/4 liter V8, and when you're cruising on the highway, the cylinders, 4 of the cylinders will shut down, so you can cruise on 4 only, which makes it much more efficient. This is also twin turbocharged, and we've got 505 horsepower and 752 pound-feet of torque. We've actually got W12s in the Continental that go up to 631 horsepower. So that would be the most powerful one at the moment, but this has the most incredible low-end torque with the 752 pound-feet. So it just pulls like a train, as some people say.
So I get the sense that you're really trying to keep a performance element in this car as well, that it's not just one that you're just being driven around in, but that you're actually getting the experience of the driving.
Absolutely. Bentleys are known for being drivers' cars, and this car has a top speed of 285 miles per hour. And actually on Monday, I'm going to head out to Bonneville Salt Flats, and we'll be there with Andy Green, who holds the land speed record. And he's going to take this up to speed and talk about the future of speed. And Bentley has a great history of racing. We've won the Le Mans race 6 times, and it's absolutely central to our history.
What's the 0 to 60 on this car?
The 0 to 60 on the Mulsanne is 5.1 seconds.
Okay.
And the top speed is 184 miles per hour.
Wow, that's flying. Let's take a look at the wheels here.
Sure. So these are 2-piece 21-inch wheels, and these are roughly a $6,000 option.
Okay, you have a real aerodynamic design here.
Yes.
Across the bottom of the vehicle.
Yes, exactly. And so again, you see very crisp lines, and the designers, the way they discuss it, they'll discuss positive and negative lines. So you see down here, there's a strong crease and then a shadow. That would be called the negative lines here in the car.
And so how many did you sell last year, and what are your projections for this year?
Yep, we've sold just under 800 at this time last year, and now we've sold just more than 800. That would be for third quarter results. So when we began building this car, we thought we wouldn't build any more than about 700 or 800 units per year, and now it's looking as though we might be nearing 1,000 units. But also with the Mulsanne, we're not talking about a volume game here. We're trying to build the very best car. It takes nearly 500 man hours, and so we're not looking for a numbers game.
Right. What you're trying to do here is to continue to maintain the prestige of the brand, to show people what this car symbolizes for Bentley and what Bentley is all about.
Exactly, yeah. The Mulsanne, it was always set out that this would be the very best car that Bentley could build. And then moving to the back here, as you follow the lines of the duotone paint, you see this rear windscreen is floating, and that's all thanks to superforming. You don't see any kind of cut lines across. And then this double horseshoe design language that debuted with the Mulsanne, as well as the ellipses and the lights that follow all the way down to the tailpipes.
What we're going to do next is we're going to actually go inside the car. We're going to check out the iPad specs and everything that this car has to offer. And for all you techies out there, for all you people that want to actually get things done while you're actually driving around the city or to your next meeting, let's see what Bentley has to offer. So what we see here is what looks to be like a tray that you would eat off of, but it's basically a piano black lacquer tray, but I'm going to show you what it really is. If you think you're driving a Bentley just so you can go on vacation and have a good time, well, yes, you can do that, but you can also choose to actually get some work done in this thing. This is a computer that's set up here with the iPad right here. You turn it on. I didn't even need a password, and it was conveniently set to the Wall Street Journal's WSJ.com site. But it kind of functions like the cross between a PC and an iPad, because you can actually, without the mouse, you can touch the screen and do a lot of other things with it. A lot of vehicle manufacturers who I've seen in the past couple of years have really been touting the fact that they have a wireless hotspot. So the idea of actually being able to get work done in the vehicle is not a new concept, but you've really taken it a step further by actually putting computers in, having this iPad right into the back of the car.
And they can be removed, you can use them on your lap. It's all about ease. And what Bentley was thinking of was, what is the next step for customization? How can we seamlessly integrate this so that we've also got the same fine veneers on the back of the tables and the same fine stainless steel that you see throughout the rest of the cabin. And it's all about giving our owners more choices, more options, and of course more connectivity and convenience.
How did you come up with the idea that you really wanted to integrate more of this into the vehicle?
Well, what Bentley knows about its customers is that many of them are entrepreneurs. A lot of the money is self-made, and these are people who have earned the right to buy a Bentley like this. And so they are always on the go. They're always on 24/7. They've got to be connected to the world. And so, of course, this makes perfect sense that we would want to give them an option to have something like this.
These are the entrepreneurs, the self-made people that are really at the pinnacle of their careers and still trying to do more. Exactly. I mean, that's basically what it is. And so having to work more and more in crazy hours, even if you have to be in the vehicle. So if I want to just go to the front and check that out, all I have to do is press 2 buttons and it goes back to looking like an eating tray. And I'm sure you don't need to ask why I asked to sit in the driver's seat, because I'm really looking forward to actually getting a chance to drive the car. But before we do that, let's talk about the interior. Maybe you can give me a little rundown on this whole setup. I see the piano lacquer is right here. You brought that from the back all the way to the front.
Exactly. So this is our piano lacquer wood, and the lacquer is actually applied over our famous burr walnut wood, which has a beautiful kind of knurled look to it, multifaceted. And a lot of people in the wood shop say it's a sin to cover it up with the piano lacquer. But this is a nice slick look here. You'll see all throughout the dash here, this is all stainless steel, and what we say at Bentley is if it looks like stainless steel, it is stainless steel, and not everyone can make that claim. Here you've got these bullseye vents, and as you can see with the stainless steel, one of those features is that they'll even sweat if the AC is on high enough.
Yeah, you see that, wow.
So that can change between what's going on with the vehicle, what your speed is, the temperature, your radio station. It can also be a redundant navigation indicator to tell you what's the next move you've got to make. And as you can see here with the navigation unit, this features a 60 gigabyte hard drive. And we've got this navigation system. We can easily hide that. We've got your iPod in here.
Okay, so my iPhone is plugged into their little thing, and I heard it ringing. It looks like the person hung up, but all my calls here, and you have an iPhone charger, iPad charger.
So this is an iPhone drawer right here, and as you can see, what we do throughout the car is that we've got technology seamlessly integrated and concealed. So right here, this drawer alone, it's leather lined, stainless steel, everything, and this holds your iPhone, and it can seamlessly integrate all of your music, your audio, and this drawer alone takes 3 hours to build.
I can see that you've really gone to great lengths to hide it, so even with the computer back there, so that it doesn't look at first glance like you're even looking at something that's going to have an iPhone inside of it, or something that's going to have an iPad and a computer inside of it.
Of course. So what we've done now is Bentley is in the modern age very much with the Mulsanne, but if we wish to, we can conceal it. It would be almost like putting a flat screen TV in an armoire. If you like the new technology, it's there. If you don't, you can close it away and entertain, and it's not, the technology is never intrusive, but it's there when you need it. This is the world's most powerful in-car production system. This is made by a manufacturer called NAIM, N-A-I-M, and they are a British home audio, custom audio manufacturer, and so this is the first time they've ever worked with a vehicle manufacturer, and this system is 2,200 watts. Bentley is very well known for its wood and its leather. We actually have the largest leather shop of any vehicle manufacturer in the world. This leather all comes from bull hides, so there's less stretching, and they're raised in fence-free pastures in Northern Europe, and that is to eliminate blemishes from barbed wire and from mosquito bites. So this is absolutely perfect leather. They're meticulous about picking it out, and you can see here we've got duotone here. This is anthracite and linen.
And so that's the 2012 Bentley Mulsanne. Once again, it's going to start being shipped at the end of this year.
The executive interior spec Mulsannes will ship at the end of the year.
Well, this is the top of the line Bentley For Bentley, it starts at $290,000. You can go all the way up to what, $400,000?
This is 380,000, and if you've got any other ideas about options, we're always happy to talk.
I'm sure you are, and you continue to pull out more options. But the iPad Spec is really the big new thing in this vehicle, right?
Absolutely. The iPad Spec is the next big thing. It's very exciting.
Okay, so for all you hard workaholics and you gadget lovers, it's the iPad Spec in the Bentley Mulsanne, and this is the person that you call if you want one. But if you're just a car lover, it's something to look at because you continue to improve this car, but every year it must become more and more difficult to figure out what to do to differentiate the car.
We'll always find something.
And this vehicle in itself took 500 hours to create?
500 man hours, yeah. So that doesn't even count the time that the wood is curing and drying in between layers of lacquer. That's just times people are working on the car 500 hours.
Luxurious look, iPad, and wireless keyboard aside, the driving experience was still the best thing I liked about the Bentley Mulsanne. The engine remains quiet even above 85 miles per hour and coasts along very smoothly, especially for a car that weighs more than 5,000 pounds. With the 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds and a V8 engine with plenty of power, the Bentley Mulsanne is still a driver's car. Having experienced both being driven and driving the Mulsanne, I still prefer the driving part. My only hesitation about driving such a luxurious car around the streets of New York City and New Jersey is the preferential treatment and the resentment it evokes from the people you come across. I don't know which of those responses was more humorous, but in the end, one thing was surely clear. Whether you're driving or being driven, the 2012 Bentley Mulsanne will get you noticed. For the Wall Street Journal, I'm Lee Hawkins.
The most important thing for an athlete is building their brand on their performance, on their field, whether it be on the golf course or on the football pitch or the basketball court or the tennis court or whatever it is. I think that's the number one thing.
So this cigar you could get for, $5 to $6, which is great. So I would say fall
That's
tailgating,
really a great price.
this is a great price,
Yeah.
and the flavor will not disappoint.